Mana Designs, you let in the charge you're rating. No, hello again, Kitty Bird. Hopefully, is Twitch being derpy for you? I hope not. But Mana Designs, you led the raid. Why don't you get us going? If you can type in exclamation point 1D100, that will kick us off and let us know if we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class, in which case, hey, we'll go through the process again. Stops on a 17. All right, so we have a female character. And Kitty Bird, will you please type exclamation point 1D10? And you're going to help us determine the race of our character. Oh, you got to have the one in there, Kitty. Yep, it's fine. Stops on a 2, so we have a Dwarf. We're going to have a Phantom Rogue Dwarf. And which kind of Dwarf do we have? I'll tell you what, Doc, will you please type exclamation point 1D4? On an odd number, it's a Hill Dwarf. On an even number, it's a Mountain Dwarf. Stops on a 2. We have a Mountain Dwarf. Okay, so we're going to go over to our blank character sheet. We have a female Mountain Dwarf. They are medium-sized. And we already know that we're going to be making a Rogue Phantom. And that we're going to be making a level 20 Rogue. Just to explore everything as it could exist. All right, now, PV, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 in order to use the balanced odds to give us an alignment? Stops on 37. We are lawful neutral. Lawful neutral. Okay. Now let's get a couple more reference points. We already know that we're level 20. Now what we can roll for, are we going to replace any of our ability score improvements with feats? And to help us determine that, let's see. Grimm's reality. Are you still here? And if so, would you like to help create a character? Reezy, hello. We're making a randomized character to explore the new Unearthed Arcana content. Might not be here, that's fine. Let's see, who else is here? Purple Neko, speaking up, Purple Neko, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 in order to help us determine if we're going to take any feats on this character? Stops on a 62. Oh, it's close, but we're going to take all ability score improvements. It is neither good nor bad, Purple Neko. It is what it is. All right, now it is time to determine our background. Reezy, will you please type exclamation point 1D10 in chat? And Reezy, you can help us determine our character's background. Yes, we are, Purple. Oh, Reezy, I need a 1d20. Class is not randomized because we're going to be exploring the Phantom Rogue. Stops on a 16. We are a sailor. In particular, we are a pirate. Okay. So we have a pirate background. This could mean for our background feature, we might be able. We might either have bad reputation or ship's passage, and let's explore the individual, and then we'll determine which background feature would be most appropriate. He lurks in opera houses. All right, so we're going to come down here to sailor, and in particular pirate. There's no other real background here, so let's have some more people help us with roles. Who else is hanging out? Shukan, will you please type exclamation point 4d6, and we're going to use the first three numbers for our ideal bond and flaw. Mr. Plunderloot, will you please give me exclamation point 1d8 in chat? Mr. Plunderloot gives us a 6 for our first personality trait. Wiffle Possum, will you roll a d8 in chat also and give us our second personality trait? And if Shukan isn't here right now, I will call on... who has not rolled yet? Dark Wolf, are you still hanging out? Dark Wolf, you want to roll 4d6 in chat? Purple, have patience. We will explore it. Don't worry. Just exclamation point 1d8, Wiffle. And Dark Wolf, it's just exclamation point 4d6. All right, our second personality trait is number 1. And then 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, and 5. Oh, Doc, hey, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome aboard. You best be believing in ghost stories. You're in one. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we already have this. We already have this. Now let's determine our character's age. We are a mountain dwarf. And let's have who else hasn't rolled yet that's hanging out with us? Rytel, if you're here, can you please give me a exclamation point 1d100 roll? All right, Doc, have a great night. Thank you for coming along in the raid and for the follow. I appreciate it. Stops on an 83. We have an elderly dwarf. An elderly dwarf. And I guess I'll step in and... I'll take care of this next roll, as we have 223 plus 1d59 years. All right, he is 260 years old. Hey, Sheeps. Sheeps, you are here just in time. Because what I can do is ask you to roll 1d6. And Sheeps, I will have you combine with Darkwolf's final d6 roll to give us our weight modifier. Reezy, we're going to have a ton of fun with this. It's just exclamation point 1d6. Mathrock's bot can turn on but can't roll dice. So we're having to go back to the old commands. All right, it stops on a 1. And so it was a 4 was Darkwolf's final d6. So we're going to have a weight modifier of 5. And now I need some height modifiers. And let's see, Mana Designs. Let's kind of bring it back around as we're in the twilight of our dice rolls. Can you please roll 1d4 in chat? Exclamation point 1d4. It stops on a. Oh, I really shouldn't hold my sneezes. And then. Reezy, you're excited to see the backstory. Let's put this one last little detail in place. Reezy, will you also give me an exclamation point 1d4 roll in chat? There's some people in the community when they broadcast. I try and stop in, and I'll watch for a little bit, but I don't have a lot of time to sit down and watch shows. So I guess the closest might be D&D time. I get to play with them occasionally, and I might be able to catch a VOD of theirs if I'm working, because it's sort of episodic in the background with like an hour and a half one shot or so. But there's nothing that I can regularly catch just due to my own personal schedule. I'm always open for recommendations because for the shows that you all watch, I like learning about them because if someone else comes to the community and they say, hey, you know, I like horror, can you recommend anything? Well, others in the community have recommended Custos Lupus. If we need horror, we'll turn to Custos Lupus. By the way, thank you very much for re-upping Custos. All right, so our height modifier is 4 inches, which means that we are going to be 4 feet, 4 inches tall, and then we're going to take 4 times 5, which is 20, and add that to our base weight of 130. So we're 4'4" at 150 pounds. Okay, we have everything in place that we need to begin building our character. And for any of you that are new to this process, you see these right here? These are some of the last bubbles that get filled in. Right now, the ability scores don't matter. We're actually going to delve into our background first. The fact that we have a dwarf, the fact that we have a rogue, the fact that we have this phantom subclass for the rogue doesn't matter right now. It will get folded into everything, but we don't need to start playing a math game. We have to discover who this character is first. And let's do that by cracking open our player's handbooks. Pardon. So for all of you out there, I mean, oh sheeps, you knew this was coming. For all of you out there, I hope you have your player's handbooks handy, and we're going to open up to chapter 4 and go down to Sailor. And in particular, we're going to keep in mind that she was a pirate. I'm going to scroll a little bit faster. There we go. There we go. You lost another one? Oh, sheeps. I dropped it in a flood. Well, hold on. Wasn't your half-drow heroic... your half-drow heroic country girl, like, farm daughter supposed to rescue everyone from that flood by warning them to evacuate all the mammals? All right. Well, I guess someone's gonna have to share their books with Kitty and Sheeps. It's called Dimension 20. It's made by the people over at College Humor, and it's so incredible. It's an anthology series, so each season is separate from the last. Right now, they're going through a Game of Thrones Candyland hybrid world, where the PCs are candy royalty and the world is low magic and full of political intrigue. That is a cool kind of grab bag mashup, PV. And hey, if you want to, if there's a show that you like, you can share that with the rest of the community as well. You are certainly put that in your finds. Like, hey, here's a show that you can copy the blurb in, share it with others. Get more community members to watch and have a little watch party and talk about it. Oh, that's fine, Mana Designs. Don't worry about it. If nothing else, I have my copy here for you all to see. Actually, I'm going to see if I can... There we go. That is a little bit better. All right. Now, as a sailor, right? This is who is our character? How does she operate? What has her life been to the point that we find her where we do? What was her job? What was her hobby? What was her education like? This is going to tell us so much about our character. I love beginning with the background first. All right, we have skill proficiencies with athletics and perception. All right, navigator's tools. And vehicles, water. Equipment, and I mean, we're making a level 20 character, but to go through the motions, at least with this much, we have a belaying pin. This is our handy dandy pin, maybe from our first ship or the ship that we're still on, and it could be sentimental. We have 50 feet of silk rope. Our lucky charm is going to be Trinket number something. And, oh, shoot, I missed the announcement, and for some reason my mini feed hasn't updated with what just happened. It might take a second. Oh, there we go, it's in chat. Demon Quiller, re-upping. Oh, thank you so much, Demon. Demon, oh, an 8-hour stream. What a marathon. Yeah, Mana, go do what you gotta do. Go do what you gotta do. Demon, can you do me a favor and type exclamation point 1D100 in chat if you are able? And thank you again for re-upping that sub. Remember, for all of you out there, your subscriptions go to get boxes of minis out of my inventory and out to you all during our monthly minis raffle, which is going to be taking place this coming Wednesday, the 20th. We'll be giving up boxes. All right, Demon, we have Trinket number 36. And this is going to be our Sailor's Lucky Charm. We have a set of common clothes and a pouch containing 10 gapuz. There we go. Now we have these two options for our background feature: ship's passage or bad reputation. I don't know. Let's find out more about who our character is, and we can decide if she can pretty much get a transportation anywhere, or if she's been notorious enough in her life that where she goes, doors will open for her because no one wants to, get on her bad side. Toy Story Ocean's 11 mashup, Lord of the Rings parody, a fantasy Breakfast Club season, and a magical New York season. I love the grab bag of I guess elements that go to it. How long is a season then for them, PV? Is it just like an arc of like 6 episodes, or has everyone been a year long kind of a thing? All right, now we're going to go to the personality traits and find out who our old sailor is and what she's been up to during her life. Personality traits. 6 and 1. 6 is, I never pass up a friendly wager. And number 1, my friends know they can rely on me no matter what. All right, so she's determined. She will get the job done, and if that includes even taking up a bet, well, she'll take the bet. Oh, yeah, so that's pretty decent PV. We all mean different things if we're talking about sessions or campaigns or in this case seasons. So I appreciate you, I guess, giving a little bit more context. Because I don't know, is a season is it a fixed list, or is it how does that work? All right, so I never pass up a friendly wager. My friends know they can rely on me no matter what. What is her ideal? What is something that she strives for or looks forward to? Her ideal is number 3, freedom. The sea is freedom. The freedom to go anywhere and do anything. And it's at this point where one of you might say, hold on. How dare you, sir? The book literally says chaotic right here next to this ideal. And we have a lawful neutral character. How dare you? You have to be chaotic to have this ideal of freedom. You do not. I promise. You can have a character who carries herself in an organized fashion, in kind of an even-headed fashion, that the expression or alignment of this lawful neutral sentiment will give you. But have that ideal to yearn for freedom. What if she yearns for it because she's been so meticulous her whole life? What if it's an ideal, but maybe it's not a realistic one for her because of her compelling nature, or she is doing what she's doing because it could lead to freedom for other people, even if she's perfectly comfortable in this organized state. Being lawful doesn't necessarily mean that you've read every law book and you are a law-abiding person. Being neutral doesn't mean that you get to kill someone and then say, I cancel it out because I give distilled water. I give distilled water to, someone in the wastelands. And it somehow, flops back and forth that way. In this case, you are, you exist because you have a goal. You are not necessarily willing to sacrifice other people for that goal, but it is important to get things done. And, if you benefit, others will benefit as well. That is one way to express that. And of course, by having the ideal of freedom, that is one of the dimensions of your expression of yourself. That's why it's absolutely fine to have this chaotic ideal, despite being lawful neutral. Her bond with the world. Her bond is number 4. In a harbor town, I have a paramour whose eyes nearly stole me from the sea. Oh, a romantic interest. And we can ask ourselves, is this a current romantic interest? Is this a romantic interest from 100 years ago when she was a younger sailor or pirate? Is this a literal someone, or is this Does she have this whim or whimsy or this affection for maybe just for the town itself? Is the paramour San Juantaneo for Andy Dufresne and Shawshank? You know, is it the place that she wants to retire to that will steal her from the sea? And so you can see that despite us having this random element to our character, and in good spirit abiding by it, we can still think about what would be compelling for this character, or who. What has happened in this character's history. This is why starting with the background is so important and so powerful as a player of the character, let alone if you hand this character to your dungeon master, he or she is going to get a lot of information to build the world, to tweak the adventure, to you know, hook in your character even better. Because this paramour, whether it's a person, place, or thing, an abstract or concrete noun, is now a part of the world and can be a compelling force. Yeah, this is open to interpretation, Reezy. You know, we're abiding in good faith to the randomization, and this is how it manifests, right? Your alignment is what happens after your brain-to-mouth filter. Nothing stops a chaotic evil character from donating 10 gold pieces to the local church. In good faith, even. Like, oh boy, I sure hope an orphan gets adopted. Meanwhile, you know, a chaotic evil person can burn down the orphanage. Also, you can be chaotic evil and not burn down the orphanage and have to kick every puppy in the street. You know, so we have these, I guess, these broad concepts of what alignment could be, but don't let the alignment define your character. Alignment is simply the way that your character expresses him or herself. It is the spontaneity or the randomization or the methodology or the compulsion that your character manifests. It is one aspect to your character, not the catch-all. And none of these really are the catch-all either. You know, her ideal doesn't necessarily overpower her flaw. Nor does your flaw. In fact, let's go to that. What is her flaw? For we are all flawed creatures. Her flaw is number 5. I can't help but pocket loose coins and other trinkets I come across. Does this make her evil? Does this mean that I have to do this literally every time I have the opportunity to? Am I a thief because this happens? Has my flaw doomed me so I can only play a one-dimensional character now that goes around going like lol lol, you know, pick a pocket or take a coin? Because the other checks on the character will come into play. Just like who we are as people. We have a sense of conscience. We have a sense of morality. If you all hold whatever philosophical or religious guidance for how to live your life, you know, those are the things that you know, will check your actions as well, that you can abide by, and they're certainly a part of your life. Are they the totality of your life? Mana says, guess what I forgot to do before my stream again? Oh, yeah, Mana. Yeah, please, anytime you go live, please share. Please. You don't have to. Like, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in you, Mana Designs. You know, it is your stream, but you are always welcome to share when you go live. Let us know what you do, especially if you have a cool 8-hour marathon. Reezy says, oh man, she's complex. She reminds me like a staunch grandmother who has had such a colorful past that her grandchildren could never have expected her to have. And wouldn't that be interesting, Reezy? if you are the player and you propose a kind of a grandmother character like this to the DM, and you work with the DM, wouldn't that be interesting if you end up going back and having, I don't know, certain like flashbacks as one shots or two shots? Or if you work with the DM to slowly drip feed in content and history and context into the story alongside the other people who are playing. Especially if you're an experienced player and maybe you have some newcomers at your table. So they're the fresh batch. They're the fresh fish aboard the ship. And so here we have our old wizened pirate. You know, everyone knows her as Granny or whatever. You know, maybe she comes off as a bit of a hard ass, but you know what? When you're off the clock, then, you know, she is willing to, you know, kind of let some things go because she understands, because she's been there. And throughout the course of your game, she could be a delivery method for information, for rivalries, for enemies, for opportunities. We have a character, everyone. Right now, we have a character. Does it matter at all? I ask this in good faith. Does it matter what her dex score is? Does it matter what her charisma score is? We can already picture her in our minds and how she acts and what she does. We're getting ideas. We're coaxing her out of the mists, the infinite ether of possibility. We're coaxing this one character out, and we're getting to know her because she's a product of the world in which she lived. And so by the point of having this character, the world exists which would have this character exist. It doesn't matter what her strength score is if we already know this stuff about her. Nothing here depends on a high intelligence score or a low intelligence score. In fact, this coming first will guide us to eventually drop in her stats. But for now, we know who she is in her heart of hearts. That is the most important part of your character. That is the key, the core. Because we get into our character. And you might say, you know, well, but I wanted another background because, you know, I didn't want athletics. I wanted something. No, but play into it. Because if you understand who your character is, not just as a living math problem, not just as, you know, in a meta, well, I'm the one who does perception. I mean, you could do that if you want. But I'll tell you, you could have proficiency in two of the skills that you think are the poopiest. But if you know your character, you can use those skills efficiently and in ways maybe you never have thought of before. And this is exactly why we roll random characters, to remove the personal bias, to challenge us to think differently about ourselves as players or dungeon masters. Or to think about, well, you know, when I play a dwarf, it's usually this way. Maybe you've never played a dwarf like this before, and congratulations, here's your challenge. Can you think of a dwarf like this? What role would this character have on a ship, in a world, as a player character, or as a non-player character? Would you want her as not just an NPC, but what about as a villain, or even a rival? Hey, that's great. That's a good progress, Mana. Yeah, Mana, that is passing forward the good energy and great community building. And you know, hopefully I can return the favor and we can raid you sometime as well. And Reezy, yeah, that's why we exist, right? We're a workshop primarily. We play on Tuesdays, but that's just so I can practice what I preach. Wednesday through Saturday, we're a workshop. Now, based on this, do you think that she'd have something like a bad reputation? All right, no matter where you go, and we can step sideways with this as well a little bit. No matter where you go, people are afraid of you due to your reputation. When you are in a civilized settlement, you can get away with minor criminal offenses such as refusing to pay for food at a tavern or breaking down doors at a local shop, since most people will not report your activity to the authorities. Or we can go ship's passage, and you don't have to be evil for this, by the way. Especially, what if something happened in her past that got her notoriety or infamy, even though she doesn't act like that anymore? People may still know her and open up doors for her, and not out of politeness. When you need to, you can secure free passage on a sailing ship for yourself and your adventuring companions. You might sail on the ship you served on, or another ship you have good relations with. Because you're calling in a favor, you can't be certain of the schedule, etc. Rytel says, I love characters that are proficient in a skill with an 8 to that stat. Makes you think, how do they get good at something they're inherently bad at? That's one way to approach it, or Rytel, it just means if you have an 8 in intelligence, but you know history, it means you're a history buff. I mean, maybe you didn't graduate, you don't have universal knowledge, but you know history. You might not know the difference between, you may not know not to wipe with the 3-pointed leaf, but you know the battle of so-and-so. So, a low overall intelligence might just mean you're not broadly educated in that one subject. However, you are a savant. You do have an understanding because maybe it's a hobby or a pursuit of yours. Which is why, in Rytel, you are backing this up, it never hurts to have a proficiency in a dump stat. A proficiency in a skill, which is a dump stat for you. Never be afraid of that. That helps define your character even further and is a powerful role-playing tool, and it can also be advantageous mathematically. Mana Design says, one of my players played as a Kenku bard in another campaign, and it was amazing. His name was Plink, which was the sound his musical instrument made, as a woodblock. She used the soundboard and quotes from other players to communicate. Oh, that's clever, Mana. Hey, Chris. No, don't apologize if you're painting, and I like the lurking, thank you. But I hope that you're having a great time painting and listen to us talk and build this character bit by bit. Now, so she believes in freedom. The sea is freedom. She is a paramour. And I never pass up a friendly wager. Friends know they can rely on me. I'm kind of getting more the, she's been around. She probably knows a lot of ship captains. Might even have favors to call in with some of them. And, she is a pirate, and nothing says that she couldn't have been a pirate. But I don't know if she's the type here. Unless the bad reputation would reflect, because she does, things might disappear when she's around. Or if she's had to make some tough calls in order to get the job done. Do we have to take this bad reputation again? She doesn't have to be evil for it. But this simply means that people know her and might be afraid to cross her. If not because, if I have to pay for me ale, then I'm going to cut your throat. It doesn't have to be through that brute force. But this could simply be you have such a reputation that as an individual, people know you because of the things that you've done. You might be a story, now that I'm saying that out loud, I think bad reputation or bad, quote unquote, reputation might be the way forward for her. She's had to do some things in life. Let's go with bad reputation for her. Yeah, exactly, Rytel. I'm flipping it or sideways, however you want to say it. We're going to take the core mechanic that instead of sort of I and others can get transportation, we have someone who is a notable figure and can get away with things because people might owe her favors or things along those lines. You are correct, Rytel. All right, we have a character, everyone. I hope you like her. Thank you for being a part. No, I'm just, there's a little bit more that we got to delve into, all right? So now that we understand we have a character already, we know how she operates. We've explored her past and even maybe how she pursues decision making. Now let's find out not just who she is, but what is she? Well, as a dwarf, I went too far, everyone. I dug too deep. Our constitution score goes up by 2. And our speed is 25 feet, 12 climb, 12 swim, 0 fly. We do have 60 feet of dark vision. We do have dwarven resilience. So we are resistant to poison damage. And we have advantage on saving throws versus being poisoned. Well, not just the condition, but poison itself. Dwarven combat training. You have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe. All right. So for weapons, I'm going to put dwarf weapons as well as rogue weapons because each of those is its own list. Which I think would mean that we could actually get some sneak attack off of a light hammer. Or a throwing hammer, which would be a lot of fun. I'll have to double check that weapon in Chapter 5 equipment. Tool proficiency. Artisan's tools your choice. Smiths, brewers, or masons. Now, if she is on a ship, you can talk to your DM and say, well, maybe carpenter's tools. Maybe she helps. She's a bosun or some sort of engineer or shipwright. Maybe she helps keep the ship in ship shape. You know, if you're slotted for an artisan tool of some kind, is it going to be game breaking if you take carpenter's tools instead of, mason's tools aboard a ship? No, it'd be thematic to your character. Talk to your DM. Though, if we're going to stick to this, what might she have? Pass up a wager. The sea is freedom. She visits harbor towns. She pockets loose coins and other trinkets. Well, Smith's tools could also come into supplying the ship with nails and bracers, if not fixing the arms and armor of the sailors. So she could be very useful there, and right, her friends know that they can rely on her. I could see her, look, if you're sailing around, maybe she makes the brew for the crew. She never passes up a friendly wager. Hey, I bet you can't turn that tropical fruit into a rum. Watch me. Mason's tools? Who's to say that there isn't maybe this isn't a dwarven ship? What if the dwarven ship is made of something like pumice, which is a rock that can float because of the air pockets? And maybe this is a dwarven ship that actually uses stone as part of it. For in the keel, you need stones in order to for ballast. Maybe the anchor is made of stone. Maybe there's a stone figurehead for balance or just because you want to show off. Maybe the hull is made of some exotic stone. Mason's tools can be appropriate here as well. And also, don't forget too, Mason's tools not just aboard a ship, but if you're landing in some place and you want to take mineral samples, you want to build, you have to maintain a dock or a port or like a home base or something. Mason's tools could very much be a part of this character as well. Oh, that's a great story, Mana. Oh, I love it. Let that person know that that's very ingenuitive. So you have ingenuitive. I think I tripped over my I tripped over my teeth there with my tongue. Yeah, it's intuitive might work too. It's a really cool idea. So let's see. In this case, I don't know. Let's go. Rytel, will you please type !1d6, and we'll go 1 and a 2. Smith's tools, 3 and a 4. Brewers, 5 and a 6. Mason's tools. Let's randomize it. If we're not certain something doesn't point for more certainty, then roll with a random one. We can make anything work, and believe in yourself to make anything work. Which is why you should never feel like, oh, if I'm going to play this class, I have to play an elf because I get the +2 to dex or whatever. No. Don't worry about that. You can have anything work. Stops on a 1. All right, so she has Smith's tools. All right. We also have Stone Cunning. And we can speak Common and Dwarven, or Dwarvish if you prefer. And for our sub-race of Mountain Dwarf, our Strength score goes up by 2, and we're Proficiency with Light and Medium Armor. Which that Medium Armor might give us a little bit of an edge as a rogue, because normally we only have Light. That's excellent feedback to provide someone, Mana. All right. Now we are going to move on to her as a class. And by that, I mean just as a rogue. I'm not worried about the Phantom subclass yet. This is simply 20 levels of rogue. Straight up rogue. We are a D8 hit die class, and we have 20 of them since we're 20th level. So, you know, your hit die is a pool you can expend on a rest to recover hit points. So you don't have to drink potions or use spells when you rest. Proficiencies, well, we already have light and medium armor. Weapons, simple hand crossbows. So we already abbreviated that by simply saying rogue weapons. You can reference in the player's handbook what rogue weapons are, but we don't need to type it all out here. And also, don't forget, light hammers. Although, of course, I guess that would be under simple weapons. Oh well. And then tools, we also get thieves' tools. Which also means that we're going to learn Thieves' Cant. Or, if you want to flavor this, maybe there's a particular sailing language. You know, instead of Thieves' Cant, Sailor's Cant. Traveler's Tongue. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Bay of Pigden. Sea slang. Our saving throws are going to be dexterity and intelligence. And we're going to get to choose 4 skills from this curated list. Now, given who she is, this is what's going to determine. Not like, well, we need someone with perception on the team, so I guess I'll take perception. No. Not with these characters we make. Challenge yourself. And by the way, it's also okay to have a party where no one's proficient with perception. I promise, it's okay. I promise. Choose 4 from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Ooh. Well, we already have athletics and perception from being a sailor. Now, looking down here, so we have a paramour. You know, we do have our eyes on someone, and we've had to express ourselves, perhaps, or at least show off our skills to perhaps have gotten that paramour. And that could be social. It could be through some fantastic act. She may be old, but maybe, you know, she's a dwarf. Maybe, you know, her old bones have only grown stronger. Her joints don't ache. I mean, maybe they ache a little bit more than they used to in her prime. She could still be super dexterous. Maybe she's a very good acrobat as well. She can't help but pocket loose coins and other trinkets. I mean, that could be a compulsion that manifests, you know, her flaw manifests as sleight of hand. Even if she doesn't try to always go out of her way and do it, it's just sort of a passive thing she does. Just, you know, oh, the coin's laying around, sure. You know, see a penny, pick it up. See a copper, pick it up. There you go. Smart. I like that. See, that it's clever. Lean into those things that might be considered weaknesses or like a bad stereotype. Lean into them because you will challenge yourself. You'll be more likely to innovate because that pressure's on. And now your character is more your character and not just, you know, a human fighter or whatever. Like, it is your character, your unique interpretation of that character and the mechanics and the flaws and the ideals and all this. It's great inspiration, Mana. Put that down here because honestly, for weapons, I don't know what she's going to have. I'm just going to put strength and dex for our plus to hit because she's level 20. So I don't need to calculate, well, if she has a rapier, well, this is it. So I'm not worried about this armor that's here. We also gave, I'm sorry, I also got one step ahead here. Sleight of hand, she'll never pass up a friendly wager. She was a pirate at some point in time. That could also be privateer. You don't have to just, you know, cut innocent people's throats and steal their stuff to be a pirate. You could also have been misbranded as a pirate. Or again, you could be a pirate sanctioned by one country to go hunt pirates of another country. So, you know, we've been around. I would say persuasion would be something that she can do. Especially if she can, you know, if she can bat her eyelashes a little bit, and if she knows people, right, through her reputation, persuasion would be something good there. Probably, if she's reliable, she has reliable strength, that's for certain, and reliable survivability. The sea is freedom. You know, if she wants to assess, if she is social, if she wants to assess what might be a friendly wager, or if she can be counted on, you know, she might be a bit of a smart cookie in this case. Investigation might make sense for her as well. So we have persuasion, investigation to figure out, you know, the traps, or you know what, the guards go on this patrol, and sleight of hand. So we have one more. Hey DMP, good to see you. Alola to you. Is freedom. I don't know if stealth would work because she seems to be a very obvious person. She's a known quantity. You know what? Let's give her acrobatics too then. Either to put on a show, or the fact that if she's on a sailing ship, athletics is important. Acrobatics, a quick and fast rule. Athletics is for going up. Acrobatics is for going down. So that might help her out, especially if she's had to do some Prince of Persia stuff in a port city as well. It's going very well, DMP. Thank you for asking. We're having fun creating this Phantom Rogue character. Before that, we popped some boxes and capsules. A lot of fun stuff was opened up, and there's plenty more as well. But before we pivot back to that, we're working on this piratical Phantom Rogue. Though she's not like a murderous pirate. No, not anymore anyway. Maybe 100 years ago. We all do things when we're young that we regret later on. Okay, so now we have expertise. And she can get expertise in 4 skills or 3 skills and thieves' tools. I see that, you know, if she is someone who does work with her hands, especially with smith's tools and the like, if she's a reliable person, if she's a planner and a plotter, I think that she would use one of her expertise on thieves' tools. Probably give her persuasion because she is so well known. She is very reliable, so I'm thinking athletics. And you know, she's been around a while. Investigation, you know, to plot, to you know, to think things through, to try and be a little bit more not observant in the wisdom perception, but observant with the eye in this case. Now, if you have a different recommendation, please put that please put it forward. This isn't my character. This is our character. You know, if you think that she's actually just so good at sleight of hand it's unconscious for her, and she's just super, super good there, then sure. Maybe we take investigation and we want to put it into sleight of hand. She decided to teach herself a few attack spells after her first encounter. For that, that's a continuation from the Gnome Wizard. I'm sorry, Mana, you and Purple have the same color, so at first I'm like, oh, is that from there, or...? Oh, that's a great character setup, Mana, for the Gnome Wizard that you're talking about. And that's great character building too. You know, and I would challenge you all out there. Can you, will you build, not can you, I know you can. Will you build a wizard that has no attack spells? At least nothing that's like damaging. Maybe you take a bunch of fog spells or enlarge and reduce. I will challenge you to do that. Maybe Reezy. It's not that, you know, not that we need a random roll to tell us that she is. I don't know if she's completely selfless, though. She has her own goals. And, you know, I'm not going to let the lawful neutral define her. I don't know if she is that beneficent that she would... that it would be qualifying her to bump up into the good tier. Or what might happen if she does take a methodology like that. Let's say that she is a, I don't know, maybe she is a privateer, and she will, you know, sack another ship, but, you know, she'll sell all the treasures and then maybe give a portion to the poor, or to an orphanage, or to a charity. Or she'll go out and hunt other pirates, but kind of as a bounty hunter. If you pay her, she'll make the bad people go away. She won't do it out of the goodness of her heart, but by her being there, you know, by paying her, you're also paying her entire crew. You know, it's almost like a case of Black Lagoon. Have any of you read the manga or seen the anime Black Lagoon? Also, yeah, TT2KB coming in with the raid. Yeah, and so, Reezy, think of the economic impact that the Black Lagoon Company has in Roanapur. Do you know all the money that goes through that company? You know, and of course, not everything is above board with them. But do you know how much money they spend in that port city? That's part of the reason why the law leaves them alone, even though they're kind of doing gray market stuff. And so, you know, she exists. She has nothing against the poor or even against the rich. But if she's on the job, you know...
Many fall in the face of chaos, but not this one. Not today.
Thank you, Custos, for the host. Yeah, yep. Poison Ivy was talking about it as well. And Monday is not a normal broadcasting night for me, so I should I should be free. But yeah, hey, welcome everyone. Let's give a quick shout out, SO to TT2KB. All right, of course, as a rogue, we are getting sneak attack, and by level 20, that is going to be an extra 10d6 of damage. The list continues. Cunning action. And I'm not going to get into the definitions of all these. They're in your player's handbook. This is bread and butter rogue. And we're going to look at the phantom subclass next. Uncanny Doge. And evasion. This is why rogues are the best tanks in 5th edition. I mean, what? We get reliable talent. We get blind sense. Slippery mind gives us wisdom saving throw proficiencies. We also get elusive and stroke of luck. Malice is providing further clarification to that statement. Oh, I'm sorry the rest of it got lost in there, mana. Which, by the way, Rain, if there's anything in particular that you need me to consider or read or prep for, let me know. Like, send me a message or you know, just even like, this is going to be the general gist, and to go about it. I mean, I could certainly impromptu, but if there's something in particular that you want me to bring to the table, let me know so I can organize it while I still can. All right, so all of this, as per Rogue, in your player's handbook, bread and butter, core, you know, bounded accuracy, Rogue. So nothing about the Phantom Rogue changes from the Rogue portion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the subclasses. And in particular, and by the way, for any of you who've just joined us, this is the document that we're going to be reading, okay? We are going to be making a Phantom Rogue. And I do want to stress, this is playtest material. This is Unearthed Arcana. While this is published by Wizards, this is not official content. It could very well be super overpowered and broken. It could be really derpy and bad from any, you know, mechanical or, you know, something else. So these are options to playtest and to give feedback on their website. In fact, on that same link, you can, if they don't have it up already, then you should be able to give them feedback on what you think is going on with the, with this subclass. Oh, of course. And Rain, if you want to do something like that, even we can go through that again, if you'd like. So yes, just shoot me some ideas when you can. I'd love to get something even like semi-prepped beforehand, so we can talk about it and I can have some things ready to make sure that y'all have a great show, or that I can be a great part of a great show. So yes, make sure you understand this. This is, you know, you cannot just demand your DM allow this or expect it. Your DM may very well say, yeah, you know what, it fits with everything that we're running. I have no problems with this. It doesn't seem busted. Or you know what, I can account for this one thing that seems weird or broken. You're fine playing it. Or maybe we shave off like whatever, a D8 goes to a D6 or something, and then that seems good. Oh, okay. Then you go from there. Communication at the tabletop. Yeah. All right. So the Phantom is a revised rogue subclass that was previously called the Revived, and we did do a character or two with the Revived back when that was new UA. And you're welcome to go on YouTube if you're not already watching this in the future on YouTube and check it out. I know, imagine asking your DM permission. All right, Many rogues walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. While adventuring on that line, some rogues discover a mystical connection to death itself. These rogues take knowledge from the dead and become immersed in negative energy, eventually becoming like ghosts. Thieves' guilds value them as highly effective information gatherers and spies. Many Shatterkai the Shadowfell are masters of these macabre techniques, and some are willing to teach this path. In places like Thay and the Forgotten Realms and Karnath and Eberron, where many necromancers practice their craft, a phantom can become a wizard's confidant and right hand. In temples of gods of death, the phantom works as an agent to track down those who try to cheat death and to recover knowledge that might otherwise be lost to the grave. How did you discover this grim power? Did you sleep in a graveyard and awaken to your new abilities? Or did you cultivate them in a temple or thieves' guild dedicated to a god of death? Well, you know what? We are or were a pirate. We've probably been around the dead before, come in contact with haunted islands or ships. Maybe we've even killed a fair number of people, and this is kind of a manifestation of the death that we've caused, or at least have had the blood on our hands, given our profession. It's a great thing to think about. Not just what are the gimme goodies of the subclass. How did you learn this particular trade? How did you get these abilities? Did they spontaneously happen? Did you train for years under a master? What happened? Use this to build your character. But because we did this already with our character, I think it's very easy to see how this can very wonderfully integrate into the character we already have. Which is why we can save this for almost last. Around here, we have an expression. It goes iwi. You have owos and woo-woos. Here we have iwis. It writes itself. I-W-I, iwi. In fact, there's even a command for it, capital M, lowercase I-W-I. And if you use the BTTV extension, we have a custom emote for it. It writes itself. Welcome back, PV. Dungeon Master says, do you mind having a talk with my players? They don't understand that. If you want, I can sit down and talk to them about a DMP. We can have a teleconference about that. At Mana, yeah, you're absolutely welcome. This is a game. This is a storytelling game. Communication is essential. Now, granted, for storytelling flair, you don't just want to give away the end of everything, because even the DM might not know. But communication through the process is a part of storytelling, even if it's stuff that maybe we don't want to hear. All right, Whispers of the Dead. Echoes of those who have died begin to cling to you. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can gain one skill or tool proficiency of your choice, as a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you. This proficiency lasts until you use this feature again. Boy, what if we were... we're so old. What if we've lost a lot of people along the way? What if this is a manifestation of the things that we've learned? I like this as a great utility feature, by the way. And a skill or tool proficiency of your choice. Then we also get Wails from the Grave. As you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can cause deathly wails to be heard near them. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature you can see within 30 feet of the first. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level rounded up, and the second creature takes psychic damage equal to the roll's total, as wails of the dead sound around them for a moment. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That does seem pretty good. You are certainly a lot more of a damage dealer. especially because if you land your sneak attack, this is just a free extra damage. Is it overpowered? I don't necessarily think so offhand. I mean, in this case, we can use it up to 6 times over a long rest. It's strong. You know, it certainly would make you. You can output a lot of damage because not a lot of things have resistance to psychic damage. But I don't know. Let's keep building the character out. Right? This itself doesn't define our character. Our character defines herself. Hey, Greenwald. Good morning to you. All right, PV. Do what you got to do. 96 paints. And yeah, Plunder, if you need any more, let me know. We can get them out to you. Oh, and you're one away from yours. Well, I'll tell you what, Dungeon Master Painter. If one of you wants to follow the link to DMP's channel, stop over and give DMP a follow. A very cool, chill, conversational mini painting stream. Now we have tokens of the departed. When a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul, a sliver of its life essence that takes physical form. As a reaction, when a creature you can see dies within 30 feet of you, you open your free hand and a tiny trinket appears there, a soul trinket. The DM chooses the trinket's form or has you roll in the trinkets table in the player's handbook to determine it. While the soul trinket is on your person, you have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws, as your vitality is enhanced with the life essence within the object. That's pretty good. You can have a maximum number of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can't create one while at your maximum. As an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets, no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful, and it answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. I love that. That is a cool RP. Yeah, boy, this makes this character all the more flavored and enhanced. In fact, you know what? She has her original good luck charm from being a sailor. What if this is the thing that started her on this phantom subclass? Let's check it out real quick, because we didn't define. I believe Rytel is the one who rolled the trinket as number 36. What is that trinket, and what could have set her on this path to be a medium for the dead? $36, a vest with 100 tiny pockets. This works very well with the soul trinkets. Maybe someone she knew. It could even be that paramour. This could be the vest of the paramour, or someone that she had an affection. Maybe it was like a life vest, and the pockets could simply be like straps to to put things or something along those lines. So she wears this vest with 100 tiny pockets. Maybe she recovered it from a fallen comrade or her first captain or a lover or something along those lines. And this, in turn, because of this closeness, this passion, this proximity to death, could have been what slowly manifested in her. And this is now what could end up be fueling the tokens of the departed. Now, in this case, she has 100 pockets, but, she can destroy one of the trinkets. Maybe she holds on to the broken trinkets. So they can't answer the questions mechanically, but maybe she remembers those people. Also, it writes itself, everyone. IWI, Iwi. What does she do? What is her flaw? I can't help but pocket loose coins and other trinkets I come across. We have 100 pockets and a lot of trinkets. She's a collector. She has, you know, antique. Like these antiques, whether they're functional for the tokens or not. It is a part of her. It's kind of a compulsion. Maybe it's in remembrance of the person she inherited or took this vest from. The vest itself as a trinket might even be slightly magical in providing this compulsion. It writes itself. Look at the connections we just had. I had no idea there was tokens of the departed, but we have a character through random rolls that you all did who leans into this so hard, and this is a natural extension of who she is. Isn't this a beautiful, beautiful process? How this happens? Well, Mana, if myself and there's plenty of others in the community as well, we can answer those questions if you'd like in our Discord. And the last week of this month will be another mini painting 101. And if you need brushes or paints or anything, Mana, just let me know and we can arrange something to get them out to you. Then we have Ghost Walk. You can now phase partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. As a bonus action, you assume a spectral form. While in this form, you can have a flying speed of 10 feet, you can hover, and attack rolls have disadvantage against you. You can also move through creatures and objets as if they were difficult terrain, but you take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or an objet. You stay in this form for 10 minutes or until you end it as a bonus action. To use this feature again, you must finish a long rest or destroy one of your soul trinkets as part of the bonus action you use to activate Ghost Walk. In fact, down here, this would be tokens of the departed, and we would have 6 of them since that's our proficiency. And then finally, we get Death Knell. When you use your Whales from the Grave feature, you can now deal the psychic damage to both the first and the second creature. Oh, that's a lot of damage, and at the same time, you're an epic level character in 5th edition at level 17. Those 4 levels, those are your epic levels in 5th edition D&D. Yeah, no, there's no rush at all or pressure to do so, Mana. And if you have a friendly local game store close to you that needs your support that shop as well. I am around, I am an option, but I want you to, when you're ready, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, your bills, your time, your friends, family, and other things that you're doing. I will be here, and if I earn your business, then I will earn your business. All right, so this completes the fun little bonuses for the Phantom. Compared to the Revive that had kind of a pew-pew laser, it was kind of a way to guarantee you could always get your sneak attack in. Felt a little weird, I guess, to have a pew-pew laser. At the same time as a rogue, you also always want to use your major class feature. So I don't think it's necessarily broken or overpowered. I don't think that was broken or overpowered. Maybe just a little weird because you're running around shooting death beams out of yourself. This is a lot more macabre. It is very flavorful. Would the DPR be more? Would it be insane if you can just automatically deal the extra damage on the side with Whales from the Grave? I mean, because you're not getting a guaranteed hit like you would with the prior incarnation of this, it might average out. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I should get some kind of like a DPR calculator whipped up. I'll have to talk to Trust a Flump about that. I don't know. I think by not getting a guaranteed sneak attack, having a little bit of extra psychic damage isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is a little weird that it's just auto damage that just stacks on top of the that just stacks on top of the first. But I don't know. I guess I'd have to see the math. I don't know. I like the themes. Maybe I'm kind of loosey-goosey. As a DM, I can roll with a lot. Nothing here really seems, I don't know, over the top. You know, getting that while you have a trinket on you to have advantage on death saving throws and con saving throws. You know, as a pure rogue here, the only con saving throws you're really going to be making would be against, I guess, necromancy or poison, maybe acid. That kind of blends into the fact that you're attuned to the grave anyway, and decomposition. So it's reflective of that. You're probably not holding too many spells. And then for death saving throws, again, you're attuned to the grave. So it's a lot harder for you to just bleed out. I don't know. Off the top of my head, nothing seems very powerful, especially because that's a 9th level feature. And, you know, many games end around level 10. So for many people, this is your epic, kind of an epic level at a lower level ability. Yeah, I'm just really tough to kill because I'm steeped in death. I collect dead people. You know, maybe I made them that way, or maybe, I don't know, you're a combat medic and it's like you take the dog tags. It's the last thing. There's certainly a lot of role play you can have with this, and you know, 13th level, a fly speed of 10. You know, would this mean that you would get, you know, should it be that you also have disadvantage on attack rolls? You know, this doesn't necessarily give you, it gives you mechanically a fly speed, hover, and the disadvantage, but it doesn't necessarily means that it grants you advantage or somehow makes you easier to hide. That would be a DM call. So it's not even necessarily a mechanical lock-in to always have your sneak attack sneak in. 10 minutes of flying, 10 feet. That's, it's not terrible. So what, 20 feet around? You know, you're not going anywhere too quickly, and you're still visible, so people can still shoot arrows at you if you're trying to cross a castle wall or something. I mean, you could phase, or I guess you could hide in the wall, but if you do stop, you will take that force damage. But you know what? I guess if you go high con, maybe you're willing to do that if it means you hide in the wall and you gank someone in the neck as they walk through the hallway. You know, the fact that you can get an hour of this flight or this invisibility by busting all your tokens, you know, I guess it could be powerful. You know, it doesn't seem too bad to me. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Want to come up and say hi? All right. So, I like it. It's thematic. I do like it overall. I guess just from the vibe, from the feel above the revived. Something like this would be very, very thematic, and I think a DM and a player could have a lot of fun. All right, so now we're gonna drop in our ability scores. Finally, you know, hey, we've had a rogue and we don't know what the dex score is. Well, of course, it's not relevant because our character is still our character regardless of our our dex score. So let's use the standard array and drop some numbers in. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. You know, she is kind of an all-arounder. And by the way, don't forget, rogues get a... oops. I went too far. Druids. Get that extra little ASI. Not as a kind of like as a half fighter in that case. Here we go. So 8th, 10th, there's the sneaky one. And then the others are on the 4s, 12, 16, and then 19, well, 19, you get what I'm saying. So we actually have, right, 4, 8, 10, 12, 16, 19. We get 6, meaning that we have 12 points that we can load in after, because we did not roll that we're taking feats. Now, I think that she is a very hardy individual. I think that she is physical as well. Oh, goodness. There we go. Ooh, them's a good throat scritches, huh? Get some hair loose. You've been shedding a lot because it's getting warmer. He's hunkered down and kind of... Okay, there we go. Getting it up. You don't need to redeem anything, DMP. If you want to make a suggestion, go ahead and make a suggestion. So she is look, she's 260 years old. She's elderly, but she's still healthy enough to sail. I'm kind of thinking we go 15, 14, 13, I don't think she's had a formal she's been around, right? She's good at investigation, that's fine. I think she's going to have an 8 in intelligence, though, because nothing really says that she's been, she hasn't gotten a formal education. She's reliable. You don't have to be super smart for that. But, she's good at trying to figure out what she can see, and so she'll rely on her wisdom a lot more for that. We could probably then let's give her, she is kind of charismatic, though. Unless we want to swap out maybe a 12 strength and then a 13 charisma. You want to go 13 in dex? We can go 13 in dex. By the way, making a strength-based rogue is absolutely fine. So if we do 13 in dex, that would free up our 15. Would our 15 go to... Does she have old... well, I guess we call it old man strength, but does she have old woman strength? Or is the 15, does she just have hit points for days? Or do you want to move that to wisdom or charisma? Maybe charisma, if you want. Or we go 115. 15, 14, 13... 12, 10, 8. You think hit points for days? So the 15 would be here. 15, 14... 13, 12, 10, 8, like this. Because remember, and this is why I love, do the math last. These numbers will support who we know she is and the life that she's led, not the other way around. Well, charisma's at 14. That's the second highest number we can give her, right out the gate. So we have 15 con, 14 charisma, 13 dex, 12 strength, 10 wisdom, 8 intelligence. All right, no problem, DMP. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, DMP, what'd you end up doing? Because Mana's been hyping you here. Did you do a random act of kindness, DMP? All right, so let's say that we stick with this, and of course, if you can change it if you want, but for the interest of keeping things moving, this is what she's going to end up with. Now we are going to have 12 points to drop in here. So why don't we use some? Let's round up her con and her dexterity. If we're going to give her hit points for days, then she's going to get hit points for days. Now she does need to be able to have some strength and to be at least somewhat fit here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So why don't we go, let's go 16 dex. But I think she's really strong. We can drop the other 6 in strength and max her out. So she is tough. High strength, high con. Or we could distribute this, maybe go 18 strength if you're fine with, if you're fine with being a little less accurate. I mean, the damage is going to be, what, it's an extra 1 damage that you're missing out on. But we could just go all in on strength and she becomes a strength rogue. You can get sneak attack off with strength. It's just that the weapon has to have the finesse property. So the option of using dex. Oh, that's awesome, Mana. That is great. Or even if we're fine with dex being 14, which isn't bad at all, we could drop those 2 into wisdom. She could have picked up some wisdom along the way. You know, she can, maybe her vision's starting to cataract a little bit at 260. But she's a little bit more resistant to the wiles of magic and to be a lookout. You know, she's just looked out for such a long time in the day, at night. That could go up, and then we can still dump more into strength if we wish. Sky, we are making a Phantom Rogue using the subclass from the new Unearthed Arcana. But she is a melee attacker. Let's do that. Let's give her, she can really, she may come across as kind of a very tan grandma, but she knows where to hit you where it hurts. So that'll use up the rest of her ASIs, giving us a 5 strength mod, 2 dex, which honestly, she can wear medium armor. It's fine. 5 con, -1 intelligence, 1 wisdom, and 2 charisma. This is going to give her a saving, we have a bonus of 6. Saving throw of 5. Athletics, because we have expertise, is going to be 17. Ooh. Dex is going to be 8. Acrobatics is going to be 8. Sleight of hand, as we moved expertise up there, is going to be 14. And stealth is 2. Con is 5. And we have advantage on it. Intelligence, yeah, you know what? It's not our strong stat, but we have proficiency, so we still have a +5. So that is making us round it out. It's fine. Investigation is going to be a 5, and then everything else I'm just going to kind of discreetly, she sailed most of her life. She never got a formal education, but she can put a plan together, because you got to put a plan together. You got to be able to read a plan, ship schematics. So having a +5 despite this -1 here, that's still fine in an investigation. Saving throws is going to be a 7 wisdom, 7 perception, and 1 at others, which reflects, good, well-rounded, you've been around luxury, you've been around having to scrap for yourself a bit. I think this is it's an above average, rounded out wisdom. And charisma, she just has a natural charisma. And you know what? Sure. Persuasion is going to be a 14, which is really good in itself. Everything else is a 2, but that's fine. Look at this. We have no negatives in any of our saving throws. She is very hardy, very well-rounded. She's pretty well good at just about anything except specific book knowledge. But she might know people. She has the reputation. So her bad reputation, quote-unquote, can more than make up for her low intelligence. This is an awesome character. This is a very well-rounded, well-built character. She is survivable in combat. She's survivable in social encounters. She's someone who's engaged with the world. She's someone who is fine. This is a wonderful and playable character. Our passive perception is 17. Armor class? I don't know. She's level 20. What armor do you want to give her? Her dexterity is a +2. Now we can, because it's a dex check. Now we can figure out her hit points. We get 8 at level 1, because that is her hit die. And you get all of your hit die and hit points at level 1. Then for our remaining 19 of our 20 levels, because we already have our first level hit points, we get 5, which is half +1 of your hit die. Unless you work something out differently with your... unless you work out something different with your DM about rolling it instead. Or, I don't know, your DM says this is a hardcore campaign, you gotta take the max or, you'll die. Then for all 20 levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. Boom, look at that. A bonus 100 hit points. And we almost have 100 here from being a rogue. It's 95. So we have 195. She has a little less hit points than she has years in her age. 203. And you know what this means? We have a rogue who can wear medium armor, which is pretty good. Who can wear medium armor and wants to get up into combat. She can give hits and take hits. When she hits you with that hammer and sneak attacks you for 10d6 on top of that, and blast you with that psychic damage, she gets in your face. She is in the mix. She is not a coward. And you know what that reflects? My friends know they can rely on me no matter what. The rogue we built supports this. If you play this character knowing that before we assigned any numbers, this is all a natural extension of how she plays. And it will affect how you want her to play at the table. Because you would be willing to take those risks. Look at how survivable you are. Look at these numbers. The math is on top of what we already knew about her. This just confirms it, right? It backs it up. We have a survivable tanky rogue. We have a high DPR, a high armor class, a high save rogue. She is reliable to her friends, and she'll never pass up a friendly wager like, hey, I bet you can't run up on that dragon and bash it in the knee. Or yeah, you see the bouncer outside the elite club. I need you to go, kick him kick him in a sensitive spot so we can sneak in. All right, yeah, I can do that. Sure. It reflects that she is a lover. She believes in freedom and beauty. And through roleplay and even the mechanics, because remember, it writes itself. IWI, it writes itself. Her flaw turned into a mechanic that was given to us not only by the trinket we rolled before anything else, for her normal good luck trinket as a sailor, but as the tokens of the departed. It is creepy how this came together. And it works beautifully. We have a vivid character. And actually, on that note, what do you want to name her? She's no longer a set of random stats. She's earned a name. If she's Vivid, do you want to call her Vivian? Or do you want to call her something else? And by the way, if she's attacking off of a strength weapon, it's a +11 to hit. With Dex, it's still a pretty good +8. This is an awesome character. The tough feat? Well, yeah, if you wanted to sacrifice one of her ASIs, you could even put her Constitution to 18, I suppose, if you wanted, and give her and give her that instead. Although we kind of got the same thing by getting the 20 con, but that also gives us a higher saving throw as well. Yeah, she's a beast mode rogue. Mana. Sky says Amaria Eri'maux. And can you talk to me a little bit about the name? What is the the reference or the, I don't know, like, did it just sound good, or what? Yeah, is it based off of, you kind of looked around, you're like, oh, let's put these together, which is fine, because you can do that when naming a character. Let's get up and get a new soda here in a second. It's a sailor's term, but in mixed languages, it means hardy of the sea. Let's roll with the reference. I think she's very hardy. Amaria Eri'maux. Female mountain dwarf phantom rogue. Pirate. An old wizened soul, a lover, a fighter. Someone who can be relied upon and do the tough things that maybe no one else wants to, which is probably how she got her bad reputation. She'll take the jobs that no one else takes. She'll do the things that people don't want to do. She'll make the tough decisions that other people don't want to make. But you know what? Not only will she do it, you're going to pay her for it too. And by paying her those big monies to do the big deals, the big things, so too are you supporting her ship, her crew, the region, because she sails around and spreads the money around. She can hold herself in combat very well. And while she may be advanced in age, and, you know, there will come a year when she's going to sail out and not sail back in. Maybe whatever story you want to use her in might be the last one. And that's fine to have a character like that. When you pitch this to your dungeon master, you might say, I want to play an elderly character. And, you know, there's that one thing she's always meant to do in her life. She's never gotten to do it. And now, you know, every time she sees a sunset over the western railing of her ship, she thinks back to that thing that she never did. And maybe she feels guilty that she never did it. Or that was the one thing she ran away from, even though it was 100 years ago. This one character can be the entire basis for a campaign, or a couple shot, or even a series that kind of goes back and explores her past until we catch up and level up to this point, and then we move forward with her final quest. Because she can be counted on. Maybe she didn't want to take it and leads her on this path, and she can't refuse. Even if she knows, even if she knows that this is going to be her last journey. And what a compelling character, knowing that she is sailing into death itself as a phantom rogue. Even as someone who's accepted death or has used death, now sails to face death herself. And has had to make that peace that she's not going to be coming back, one way or the other. How compelling of a character is that? I'm sure she's got a 20 strength, and you could say, yeah, I get a +5, I get a +11 to hit because I have a 20. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You could have gone to 18 strength and had a +10 to hit, and decided to drop some more into wisdom if you wanted to. I think you can get away with that. Still a functional character. Or, you know, whatever nitpicks, go for toughness. Drop the strength down 2 and use that ASI to give her even more hit points. But you have a compelling character and not just an engine that processes math problems and probability. A character that can share a joke, share a drink, share an adventure, and share in a moment like this. A bittersweet one where the younger characters, perhaps, see her over the western railing. Reminiscing, maybe even having tears in her eyes that sparkle in the sunset much like the sea is doing that evening. Because she knows that as the port city where her paramour, or again, if the city itself is her cherished loved one, this sunset, this sparkling bay from which everyone's departing, it's the last time she's seeing it. And this, my friends, is D&D. And nothing about this was complex. Nothing about this was brain busting with math or with, we're going, contrived storytelling or, it's another character like this. This is our character we built together. She is a unique character. She is our character. There was no stress. There's smiles and joy, even in this contemplation that whatever adventure she goes on may be her final adventure. That might make us tear up a little bit. We might feel a little sad, but we just made this character. We just explored 260 years of her life of sailing, and yes, it's grand. But the sea needs to be free. And if she is the heart of the sea, it needs to be set free as well. It's been held captive in her for too long. And it's time that her ship does sail. And someone else can step up. Because she's getting old. As do all of our D&D characters. As do we as their players. And we're not sitting here over a typewriter going, oh, I have writer's block, this is horrible. All of this flowed freely and naturally. All of this was through the things we see around us, through our experiences, just by putting little clues together and saying, yeah, you know what? This sounds pretty good. What we did is Dungeons and Dragons. Right now. And I hope that you have enjoyed this D&D experience as we've made this character. And I hope maybe you can bring her to life in one of your games as well. In some form. Mana, yeah, we can work something out if you need bulk dice.